This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The beer over the rail.
Great card tonight in college basketball. So many top games. Number one in the AP poll, coaches poll, the top 4 teams in the country, all in the SEC. How about that?
Yeah. Used to be football.
That is
even baseball.
That is wild. And you see bracketology, they have 13 teams getting in, according to Joe Lunardi, and you got 1 against 2 on Saturday. We got round 2, Tennessee against Kentucky. Kentucky shocked them in the first meeting. I like the spot here for Tennessee with revenge. Number 1 defense in the nation against the top 5 offense. I think Tennessee gets them here, and I don't like that Kentucky's been horrible defensively. Tennessee, a short road favorite tonight, and a big total, of course, when you're talking about a Kentucky game. So I like Tennessee. I think they get revenge here, and Kentucky's just been horrible defensively.
They're the worst defense in the SEC now,
Yep,
Paul.
I know. It's bad.
Oh,
come on.
And we never thought they would say that.
Yeah, you've lost 4 of 6, too.
Yep.
So with Tennessee, also great with how they guard the 3 as well. Certainly you want to see better offense from them, but I think the first time around was a surprise. I think they'll be ready here, and there are 2.5s out there right now, and the totals come down from 150 down to 146 in one of the big SEC games. So we agree Tennessee gets it done?
Oh, yes.
Tennessee wins and covers? Okay. Yeah. Florida and Mississippi State. I hate the spot for Florida. Top 5 team off the big win on the road against Auburn. There were 1.5s out there. Now some picks. I just think, can you do this again and play a great game and go on the road against a ranked opponent? I say no. I think Miss State gets it done. 5-5 in their last 10. Florida's won 5 of 6, 20-3 on the season. But I just think the Bulldogs will beat Florida here. It's hard with asking these kids to go through this gauntlet, this schedule, which you're going to have to do in the SEC. I don't think they're up to the task, even though they're a good squad.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions. I'm probably not going to touch this game, Paul. It is a tough spot, but I really like Florida a lot. I think a team that's this good defensively can do it twice in a row on the road. So I lean Florida, but we'll pass.
Yeah, okay. And how about Alabama? This is their, quote, easy game.
Yeah.
3.5 on the road at Texas. Look at the schedule the rest of the way for Alabama. And this is the easy game. You got Auburn twice. And number 1 plays number 2 Saturday. Then you go to Missouri, ranked, top 20 team. Then you play Kentucky, top 15 team. Then you play Mississippi State, ranked. You go to Tennessee, top 5 team. Then you play Florida, and then you play Auburn again. That's going to be the most difficult way to end the season in the history of college basketball, or any sport, what that is. That's 6 straight ranked opponents, 7, and 4 of them are against top 5 teams. Oh.
And your biggest rival on deck.
Yeah. So
it's a tough look-ahead spot here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
And Texas played Tennessee very well at home, too. So I'm passing on this game.
But also, what are the brackets going to look like with all these teams? And I can't kill you if you go like 500 during that stretch, though.
Let's go to Nashville for the SEC tournament.
Yeah,
that'd be a hell of a 4 days.
I'm in. So if you're going to get 3 1 seeds, I'm not going to complain. I'm like, right now, he's got Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and Duke as the 1 seeds. He's got A&M, Florida, Purdue, and Houston as the 2 seeds. He's got Arizona, Joe Lunardi, by the way, Texas Tech, Michigan State, and Iowa State as the 3 seeds. Kentucky has dipped to a 4 seed.
They might keep dipping.
Yeah, if they keep playing defense. St. John's now a 4.
Did you watch the game Friday night at Connecticut?
I was so
that had
pleasant.
like an Elite 8 feel to it, Paul.
Yes.
That's how good and intense. It looked like they're going to get beat by 30 off the jump, didn't it?
Yep. They came out and hit them with a haymaker.
Yeah.
But they were, Patino's been unbelievable this year, and I would think they can do better than a 4 seed as well. How about the big one in the Big Ten? Round 2, Purdue against Michigan. Oh. Michigan, a short home favorite. Purdue beat them up in the first meeting. Purdue was won 11 of 12. Michigan, top 30 offense, 10-2 in the Big Ten. May's done a great job. Fishy line, though, right?
Very fishy. I think May is the best hire of the year, and everybody at Indiana is lamenting that they didn't get rid of Woodson and get May. And would May consider leaving?
They can still do it.
They can still do it. I like Michigan minus 2.5.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You can get 2 now, right? There's spots that have 2.
Yeah.
I
They
do.
pushed them around
That's
the first
fishy.
time.
That is fishy.
Fishy line. I'll give you another. There's a lot of fishy lines.
I like a different game in the Big Ten
Go
tonight.
ahead.
I love UCLA.
You do.
They've won 7 in a row since Cronin decided to act like he'd gone insane. He went on like 5 straight
Yep.
rants in the post-game press conferences, and the team is playing great.
Yep.
They're absolutely playing great. That's a lot of points to give them 6.5 tonight at Illinois.
Sure. How about Arizona, Kansas State?
Arizona's
been
coming on. They
Yes.
are really good. And I'm not a Tommy Lloyd guy.
I'm not
They've
either.
been making all the plays in these games, Paul.
Right. But
Going
this-
on the road and winning.
Yeah, but this is another bad spot where Kansas State's have to win over the rival.
It's a terrible
Now you gotta
spot for
turn it-
Kansas State.
Yep. That's a great game as well. How about UConn and Creighton? That's your team, Creighton. You got good
Our boy,
sources there.
McDermott, yep. He's from Cascade, Iowa, 25 miles from Dubuque. And he likes to hang out at Legacy. Nice guy.
Who doesn't? Right. So Creighton, a short home favorite against UConn as well. Dallin Cuff has an opinion on A&M and Georgia. A&M laying 8 and a couple other fishy lines. Number 1, why is Utah State and there's 4 late games? Why is Utah State only 5.5 at home to Colorado
There's
State?
zero respect for this Utah State
I
team,
know.
no matter what they do.
Yeah. Now they have a hell of a resume, and I'm pissed off they're a 10 seed. But they've lost a couple home games, which is a surprise. They lost to New Mexico, and they lost to UC San Diego, who's a good team. And I think they got Lenardi has them first 4 out, and they had the big win at Irvine over the weekend. But to only be 5.5 against Colorado State, who was bludgeoned in both games against New Mexico. So the record, in conference record, is kind of phony. When they play the big boys, they get their lunch handed to them. And again, I would think Utah State can have a big performance here and San Diego State right on the bubble, laying 6 at San Jose State. San Jose State was on a 17-1-1 ATS run before going to Boise Friday and getting blown out. And your boy Rice got it done.
How many does Lenardi have from the Mountain West in right now?
I think it's 3. I can't remember if he had the Aztecs in or not.
But
But he has New Mexico on the 8 line.
Uh-huh.
He has Utah State at 10. I think San Diego State was either their last 4. He's got them
Okay.
last 4 in. I can't get there.
No.
They've had some bad losses.
Really bad losses.
Yep. But they have to get this one tonight. And San Jose State's been unbelievable ATS. St. Mary's, this would be a hell of a game. He's got St. Mary's playing New Mexico in the first round. Winner gets a 1 seed. St. Mary's up to 9.5 against Santa Clara. St. Mary's had the close loss to San Francisco a week back, and they already beat Gonzaga. So it's right there for St. Mary's. It's got a pretty good resume to keep putting wins together and be safely in. And who knows? Get off the 8-9 line, though. Can't be on that 8-9 line and maybe get a 7 or a 6 for St. Mary's. You were one of the first guys on this. Number 1, tournament team. Number 2, hope they get an at-large if they stub their toe. Number 3, can Drake be a Sweet 16 team? 22-2.
They play real. I watch them a lot here, on Saturday afternoons when we come in. They're awfully good, and they're awfully good on the road. So that's why I like them when they have to go play these teams in a neutral or when they go and they play in their conference tournament. Now,
On a long winning streak. We were here when they lost to
Yeah.
Illinois Chicago.
Yeah.
But other than that, they just had that bad stretch where they played a couple bad games, and they're at Illinois State coming up tomorrow, and it's a pick 'em.
I thought Bradley was the best team in the Missouri Valley going into the year, but this kid that took all these players with him,
Right.
4 starters with him from Northwest Missouri.
Yep.
They've been dynamic. And, they went into all these preseason tournaments, and they were getting 10, 10.5, 11 points and winning them all straight up. So you could say that they were tested outside the conference as well. I think their resume is good enough to get in at large if they don't win it because of what they did in November and December.
Yeah. And this is a great league that wins games in March. And what is it, 5 of the last 6 years, it's been a 1-bid league. It's outrageous.
They killed Vandy in the finals of that tournament they were in, the Shriners. Right? Vandy's a bubble team right now. Beat Kansas State. I mean, that's a decent win over a Power 4 team.
Doesn't other than if you're gonna go through that league and you only have 1 or 2 conference losses, I got to put Houston minus $2 to win the Big 12, Arizona plus 210, Duke minus 1,400 to win the ACC.
It's a really bad ACC. It's only Duke and Clemson. That's
Memphis minus 1,200 to win the American Athletic. Purdue plus 110, Michigan State plus 240, Michigan plus 280, Auburn's minus 260 to win the SEC, VCU minus 210 to win the Atlantic 10 might only be a 1-bid league. That's too bad. St. John's minus 240, St. Mary's up to $9 to win the West Coast, New Mexico minus 350 to win the Mountain West. Utah State the second choice there. Those are up available at DK. Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you with the Daytona 500 coming this weekend. PGA Tour underway. MLB season. March Madness right around the corner. No shortage of action to wager on. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. As little as $9.99. You get the daily email from Bill 80. Every pick, every host, every guest, the deep dive stats and the insights, and great analysis to help you make the smartest picks. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. Full access today for only $9.99, and the prop analyzer is worth it alone. Win some, lose some coming up next. One upset in college and in the NBA, and one big line move that got there, and it's Top 5 Tuesday. In light of what happened Sunday, we ranked the top 5 worst Super Bowls. Straight ahead from Circa, baby, downtown Las Vegas, Sirius XM, Channel 158, VSiN. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Live from Circa, Sirius XM Channel 158. Paulie Howard, Mike Paul, Mitch on vacation. Mike's in Friday as well. And we'll be talking golf with Jeff Seeley coming up. Comments coming in. Top 5 worst Super Bowls. Reaction to our list. Guy digging deep, saying you got to consider halftime shows with some of these. I mean, come
Harry
on.
Ellis, Coach Harry Ellis said, what about the halftime show of Cowboys-Bills 1? It was Michael Jackson. Maybe more remarkable was the coin toss and the sideline reporter, O.J. Simpson. This is 3 years removed from some other incidents.
Very good. You can't say it's got to be on there because of
What
the
about Leon Lett?
Who cares? It's a terrible game.
He also ranked that the greatest Thanksgiving day of all time. Leon Lett, Miami.
Miami with the snow. Oh, no, it's Leon Lett. Who was on the game? Trumpy and Enberg?
Enberg and Trumpy.
I like Trumpy. That was
Trumpy,
good.
very good. Was a good tight end, my father told me.
Yeah, he was. Damn right. Yeah, OJ. Oh, wow, incredible. All right.
And Todd Christensen, who never stopped talking. He was the other sideline reporter that day.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right, not bad. Keep them coming. Top 5 worst Super Bowls with the list. And Mike, great recall about the Denver-Dallas with 10 turnovers as well. The man did it last week. Berger to finish top 5, paid 20 to 1. Every week we talk golf with Jeff Seeley, Cutmaker Podcast. Check it out. It's back. And Genesis Invitational now. Tell us about where we're playing, where it's moved, everything going on in the course now in light of the wildfires.
Yeah, guys, it's been crazy. So obviously the Genesis usually every year is played in L.A., at Riviera. This week we are at Torrey Pines South. What I like about Torrey Pines from a gambling perspective is we have tons of data here. So we know kind of what to expect, especially if you factor in some weather from Torrey Pines. It's going to be a beast from this distance-wise, 7,800-yard, par 72, insanely long course, but we do have some good shot link data. So I am very, very excited about this week because, A, it's an elevated event, so you've got a good field. But, man, we have a lot of really good golfers at really good prices. Yes, some of it's Scotty, but, man, we're going to talk about this, but, man, this is probably the best time in 2025 to bet golf. So I'm very, very excited about this week.
How about the weather, though? And if it's going to rain the first 2 days.
Yeah, and it's supposed to rain a ton on Thursday and even Friday, making the weather a factor. Whereas if it is hard and fast, it's going to run out a ton. It's going to be hard to hold the greens. If it's wet, it's going to play longer, but it's going to be easier to hold the greens and the fairways for that matter. So I think it's going to be. You're still going to have to carry the ball a long way, either that or be an elite long iron player. And there, like I said, a lot of guys north of 50 to 1 I like a lot. There is a 70-man field this week with the top 50 players within 10 shots of the lead after 2 days making the cut. So I think it's going to be similar to a Masters, right? We'll have a cut, but a very nominal cut. So I would expect most guys to play 4 rounds of golf. Before
we get to those 50 to 1 shots, let's start with the top of the board, and we're going to start with Morikawa at 16 to 1. Tell us why.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I like Rory. I think Rory certainly I could make a case for him to win pretty easily, but given his price, I'm not going to bet him. I will play him a lot in DFS, but the first guy I'm going to bet is Morikawa. And quite honestly, he's going to put himself in a good position with long irons. And this is his only positive putting surface. If there were ever an each way or top 5 opportunity to bet Colin Morikawa, this is it. Dating back to last year's Masters, Morikawa has finished 5th or better in 7 of his last 16 events. And I think we're probably getting a 50-50 proposition for him this week to finish top 5, given the course and conditions. I know that's a bold statement, but I feel that way. Mm-hmm. So we're getting him plus 260 to finish top 5, including ties. I'm definitely going to bet that. I think that's a great play. And guys, after battling sickness the last few weeks, including a WD at the AT&T, we're getting a discount on Ludwig Aubert. Finished 9th at the Farmers here in 2024. And we know this guy can drive the ball as well as anyone. Hits it dead straight on a frozen rope. It is really fun to watch. It will come down to putting for him this week, and the fact that he gained with his putter last year gives me some faith. So we may not see Aberg at this price again for the remainder of 2025. So take advantage of this while you can. Ludwig Aubert. I said Aberg, but Aubert at 25-1. I like that a lot in top 20 as well.
Mid-tier to win in top 20. How about him in the 35 to 40-1 range?
Yeah, guys. I mean, I think we're back to seeing good Sungjae Im. This is another situation where we're getting a big discount because his irons have been a mess for 3 of the last 4 weeks. But taking a look at his last 20 events, he's finished inside the top 13 times. He struggled in 3 of his last 4 events, but his lone bright spot was a 4th-place finish here at the Farmers 3 weeks ago. I'm back in on Sungjae at this price, and I love a top 10 at plus 260 or so. I think Sungjae is very interesting. Will Zalatoris, this price has come crashing down. Will opened at I think 55 or 60. Now he's in the 45 to 50 range. I've been on this train all year, and I'm not getting off now. If he plays the way he played at Torrey in 2024, it bodes very well for Zalatoris. Finished 13th and gained in every category across the board. That's the big thing for Zalatoris is can he gain chipping and putting? At his best, we know he is one of the top ball strikers on tour, and he's always a very, very interesting first-round leader play. I'm going to play him first-round leader this week. The outright market's interesting, and I'll have a little of that. But Zalatoris top 20, anything plus money is going to be one of my bigger bets this week. He's been inside the top 20 in 3 of his last 6. And when the putting's solid, which is usually concerned with him, it has been solid. Gaining putting in 5 of the last 6 events. I'm in on Willie Z. Russell Henley doesn't hit the ball a long way. Very strong long iron player. Another guy I like top 20 a lot. I'm going to play him top 20 at plus 130. Have a little bit of outright at 65-1. And then, guys, we're getting Victor Hovland at 55-1. And this has been an incredible story. I mean, it's another situation where we just bet on talent. He took a break after dealing with some struggles and broke his toe on the side of his bed. So things have been a bit of a mess for Hovland. But he's only played 5 tournaments in the last 7 months. The AT&T, he showed some signs of life. He gained every single stat except for his customary around the green and on the greens. If he can just hit the greens and not miss the greens and just 2-putt, Victor Hovland's very alive here. 55-1 for an elite tour talent, I think is worth a shot. And again, another guy you might consider for a first-round leader.
All the money, Paulie and Mike Palm, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Jeff Seeley on the Progressive Guest Line at Cutmaker Jeff and Cutmaker Pod on X. Check that out as well. At Burger last week, 20-1. Okay, how about Adam Scott's had several top 20s. How about Adam Scott to win at this price, 80-90-1 and a top 20 on Adam Scott?
He's a terrific top 20 play. And, Paul, you and I both know this. The frustration of betting Adam Scott to win is mind-numbing. Yep. And when he needs to make a 3-footer to win the event, he won't make it. But it's so weird is he comes in with spectacular form with this price tag. Dating back to last July, Scott has played 12 events across the world and finished inside the top 20 in 9 of them, including 3 top 5s. Believe it or not, Paul, his putting has been great for the last 9 months, and his ball striking is always there. This is a great opportunity to get Adam Scott at a great price. Top 20 plus 170, top 10, top 5. I'm going to ladder Adam Scott this week, knowing he probably won't win, but he's a good ladder play. And my favorite play of the week by far is Gary Woodland. If you run a model in the last 24 rounds and you just look at driving distance, which is going to be critical with this course and this weather, long iron play, which is going to be critical, and putting, Gary Woodland comes in second in the last 24 rounds. He has been a notoriously bad putter. I'm well aware of that. But he has gained with his putter in 5 of his last 6 events to go with his usually strong ball striking stats. In 2025, Woodland's finished 16th, 22nd, and 21st. So now we're getting him at plus 225 or better, top 20 at a course where we know he should shine. I love Gary Woodland this week. He's one of the most likable players on tour, and there's nothing I like more than to see the 40-year-old who does more for veterans than anybody on tour come home with triple-digit winner. I'm going to have a little bit of Gary on the outright at over 100 to 1, and I'm going to have a lot on top 20 plus 225 or better.
What were you going to do, or what do you plan on doing moving forward? He pulled out with his mom's death when Tiger gets back.
You guys remember when Tiger first came back against and played the Masters, my biggest bet of the Masters when he was head-to-head against Phil, and Phil almost gagged that away. We got a little lucky there. I'm going to look for spots to fade Tiger, but the hard part is those spots are becoming fewer and fewer and far between, and Phil's falling off worse and worse all the time. So I don't know. I'm certainly not going to play him. I'm not going to be on him. I'm going to try to find spots to fade him because the public is, in theory, going to bet him. But I'm going to be out on Tiger. I'm going to try to fade him, and hopefully we can find some good matchup opportunities in the majors. All
right. Good luck. Do it again. Nice hit last week, and we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff Seeley with the golf. And he's right. Great tournament. And Scott, 90 to 1. He's right. Zalatoris, 55 to 1. When do you see that? Excellent. 10 turnovers in a Super Bowl. My God, can you imagine?
Oh, it's an ugly game. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch a 60-minute version of it.
Yeah, Robbie J on X. Ravens 34, Giants 7. That was bad. Yeah, he's right. It's hard though. Only 5 on the list. But there's been some horrible Super Bowls. There really have been. 55-10 Niners. 52-17 Dallas. 46-10 Bears. 49-26 Niners. Oh. Can't wait. You cannot be serious up next. Rapid fire, 9 minutes. It'll blow your mind. Straight ahead, Visa and Follow the Money from Circa, baby. Sirius XM Channel 158.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Paulie Howard, Mike Palm. Mitch on vacation, coming to you live from Circa. Sirius XM Channel 158. We'll get back to the top 5 worst Super Bowls list as well, which Mike did a great job putting that together. A lot of NFL news as well, and the reaction still continues to come in. Super Bowl 5, this is from David Stanley on X. The game is often referred to as the blunder or the blooper bowl. 11 turnovers, blocked extra point, penalties, miscues. There were 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone. The Colts had 7. And Dallas had 10 penalties for 133 yards, 16-13 final. Oh, wow.
Chuck Howley was the MVP, defensive player again, and a losing player.
On a losing team,
yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes.
that had it all.
Yep.
Imagine that. Good call, Mike. Very good. It's a great college basketball schedule today. Good job by the sport. Dallin Cuff from ESPN joins us now with a plethora of picks and to go over the card. Great to talk to you, as always, my friend. Money coming in on Vandy. What do you think of maybe a look-ahead spot here for both Auburn and Alabama?
It doesn't seem that unlikely to me. I thought 9.5 was a little high this morning for Vanderbilt. They played well at home. They have good quality wins against good opposition at home, including Tennessee in a rivalry game, Kentucky like that. They've proven they can do it. I do think coming off a loss like that, Auburn's in a different place, but I think that number was a little high, so it didn't surprise me to come down. There's so many good games on this card. I'm not playing that one, but it is not surprising to see that move.
Okay. How about, what do you think of Bama? This is the last, quote, easy game, right? After this, it's nothing but ranked opponents and top 15 teams.
Which, in all honesty, that is the SEC, guys. I mean, even like, think about South Carolina beat Clemson, who just beat Duke. Now, we don't always work in the transitive property, but they haven't won a game in that league in the SEC. And they beat maybe the second best, or maybe if you're in Clemson, they'd argue the best team in that league. And that's how good the SEC is. That's how deep it is. So even if there's not little numbers next to the names, it doesn't disparage the team, because it is sometimes your schedule. And with these unbalanced schedules too, everybody has to pay attention to, especially when you're still doing futures for regular season champions, which at this point you can still find some value in these things, and these things can turn. The Big East is a good example. There's some leagues that are very compelling in this regard. Still, you've got to look at their schedule and look at who's home and away, because it's outside of the Big East, everybody's schedule's imbalanced, and TV factors into that. So if you're still doing it now, you got to pay attention. You definitely should have looked before the year, because a lot of these teams aren't returning games, and some of the big boys are getting them on their home court and don't return it. That's a huge deal. So how your schedule broke affects your record more than the quality of team you are at times, especially in a league like the SEC.
Yeah, and my good friend Bill Cramsey, who just cashed his future ticket on the Eagles, also has A&M at 60-1 to win the tournament. They're home to Georgia tonight, laying 8.5, depending on where you find it. Do you like anyone in the game? And your thoughts on A&M as an Elite Eight, possibly Final Four team?
Elite Eight, I could see it. Let's start big picture. Final Four, it gets harder. The reason for that is they just really don't shoot it that well, guys. Now, what they do is they're an elite offensive rebounding team. They're an elite, the best in the country. They get 45% of their misses. And that number's even gone up a little bit in SEC play. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. And in league play, they've even gotten better. They're physical, which sometimes in a tournament, though, can bite you the other way if the games tend to be called tighter. Their free throw percentage sometimes can waver late games. So I like what they can do. I think Buzz Williams is an outstanding coach. He'll make adjustments in games. When he first realizes this needs to change, he will make the change. Not every coach does that. I could see Elite Eight for them. I could potentially see a Final Four, but to beat the best of the best, at times they have to make some shots, and that's really been a challenge for them. That said, tonight I do love them against Georgia laying the number here. Georgia and SEC play on the road has struggled. They're 0-5 ATS on the road, and they've been in the games where they've been getting 6, 5, 6, 7 points at times. And the things I just mentioned, taking care of the ball, Bulldogs do not do it well, particularly they're worse on the road. Defensive rebound, they're second to last in the SEC in defensive rebounding percentage. And at times, as I just mentioned, that is the Aggies' best offense, to throw it at the rim. I also think this team is got a chip on their shoulder, because you mentioned somebody's got a 61 ticket on it. We're not talking about them very much as a Final Four team. And Buzz Williams is very good at playing that angle, if you will, and playing that underdog mentality type thing. I think they continue to put together good performances. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Bulldogs. I'll lay the 8.5 with the Aggies.
All right, good breakdown. Let's stay with the SEC. This opened 2.5. The favorite is flipped. Miss State now 1.5 against Florida. Big ask. You just have the huge win against Auburn, and now you got to go on the road again.
Guys, this line stinks. I liked it this morning when it was 1.5 plus for Mississippi State and took it down. I didn't think we'd see it flipping, but I did think it was off, to say the least, because when you look at the two teams just on paper and the quality of their team, what they can do, I would put that line at 3 or 4. And when you if you look at KenPom, sometimes it's a pretty good barometer if we think the line is on the level, if you will. It's 4 for KenPom for Florida to win this game on the road. They have had some bad performances off big win. Tennessee, they throttled at home. They played a good game against an Arkansas team that's not good, not a good game. They played a bad Arkansas team at the time that was really struggling, and then they laid an egg against Missouri. We saw them play Tennessee down 2 starters, try to coast through that thing. Not good. You're coming off a historic win on the road in the Plains. You're now going without Elijah Martin yet again. Walter Clayton Jr. is fully healthy, but without Elijah Martin again in that backcourt. Mississippi State, it's kind of not the Alamo, but they shouldn't be the favorite here. They've lost 4 of 6, and they've gotten blown out at home by a Missouri team like last week. So none of this makes sense. Mm-hmm. So this is a general principle play that I'm going Bulldog. And we got it before it flipped, and I'm happy with that. But I still think they can win this game outright. Money line's probably not a bad play, but I think this is one of those general principle plays right here.
Very good. Kansas State at home to Arizona. Again, you're coming off the big win against your rival, Arizona, plus 210 to win the Big 12. They continue to win games. Great story. What do you think here if you want to take the points with the Wildcats?
Both teams are hot. I'm taking the points. I liked it. I liked it at 3.5. I think it's still floating in that space right now. Earlier today, and this is this situation where both teams are playing really, really well. Arizona's won 9 straight. K-State's won 5 straight. But K-State has resurrected their season, guys. I mean, Coleman Hawkins was getting maligned. This is a new development for us when it comes to college kids. We do it some of the pros because you know their salaries and be like, man, this guy's dragging our salary cap, and they get crushed for the money they make. he's been dragged because he's getting $2 million a year to come over from Illinois, and he had not performed at that level. Doug McDaniel from Michigan had been bad. Doug's been out of his mind the last couple games. They offensive rebounded. They punked Iowa State. Doug's making shots.
Yep.
Coleman's sharing, playing that kind of like doing a bit of everything, which helps their team. He's defended well. He's a ball mover at times. He's making shots. He's not forcing it. And we're playing in the Octagon of Doom is tough. That building is live when they're rolling. They are rolling again. There's momentum and there's belief that they can keep winning these games. They're going to find themselves in the tournament. Massive opportunity against a team who comes in top of the table, if you will, in the Big 12 with the game. I believe Arizona plays Houston at the weekend. So let's talk about a look-ahead spot.
Yep.
Like this is a dangerous spot in a place they've never played in a league game. So give me Jerome Tang. Give me the points. Money line plays in the mix as well. But I'll take the points because I think they're going to win this outright. But we've seen Arizona pull some rabbits out of the hat, so I'll take the point.
Alan, I was convinced that Mick Cronin was trying to get fired here about a month ago with his crazy rants after the end of each game and calling out his assistants and his players. All they've done is won 7 in a row, including over Wisconsin and over Michigan State. They have to go to Illinois tonight. I think this is a big number, 6.5. However, after the Iowa game, he said, complain about Iowa spending 2 days in L.A. in 70-degree weather, and we have to keep flying and seeing the Statue of Liberty and the White House. When they went to Nebraska, they lost. When they went to Maryland, they lost. And when they went to Rutgers, they lost. So when they've had to leave the West Coast, the results have not been good. Any thoughts on this game? Up to 7 now here at Circa.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this, but I thought my mindset was in the same space you were. I was like, man, UCLA's playing really well, but they have not won east of the Mississippi River. All their away wins, Oregon, Washington, again, all to your point, all on the West Coast, all in the Western time zone still. And Mick has been very clear about how he feels about traveling. That said, he obviously does know his team because he burned those guys in effigy. And I thought, man, he's a lose the locker room, especially in today's modern college basketball. But he sure kept it. And they've turned it around. They've defended very well. Daly's been good. A lot of guys are contributing. That said, I do love Illinois' team. I think Yakashonis is one of the best guards in the country and probably going to be a top 8 pick. They do have freshmen that have to contribute on that team, and they've had different health issues throughout the last couple of weeks. I think they can cover this number, but I don't love it. And again, there's so much else going on right now, I'm not going to play this game, but I would lean toward Illinois covering purely because UCLA has struggled on the road, and at some point we're going to see a bit of a regression, I think, given how well they have played in the friendly confines of the western part of the country the last 3 weeks.
How about a total? First place, George Mason taking on St. Louis, total 131.5 you got.
Yeah, man. It's low, but George Mason likes that space, and St. Louis, they've taken the under in 12 out of 13, guys.
Oh.
And at some point, you figure there's going to be some regression. I've called a couple of their games, and when they have a chance, when they're flowing and they're able to play in transition and get stops, that offense can roll. When it doesn't do that, it can really become stagnant, and they are really reliant on their starting 5. They're bottom 10 in the nation in bench percentage minutes played. George Mason is first in the league and one of the top 20 in the nation in free throw rate. They have guys that get themselves to the rim and create contact and get to the foul line. They also, Tony Skinn's done a great job. They'll change up defenses, bottom 30 in the nation in tempo. They grind you offensively by seeing some different zones at times, how they guard man, and they've been the best defensive team in the A-10 by a long shot. So I think this is a grinder of a game. Mason's been awesome. They've won, I think, 8 or 9 straight in the A-10 and some shocking ones like on the road at Dayton. So this is a game where I don't love picking a side here. I do think it's a 1-point line. It's a bit of a coin flip to me. But I do think this game is played in the low 60s and gets you in the 120s, kind of where Tony Skinn wants it to win on the road.
Alan, we got 30 seconds left. If I gave you a prop bet, you got the SEC versus the field to win the national title as a pick'em. Who are you taking?
Without the numbers?
It's a pick'em. They're offering it in some places.
You said it's a pick'em?
They're offering it. It was plus 120 on the SEC. It's now a pick'em.
SEC. I think my top favorites are Auburn, Bama, and Florida. Those are the 3 teams I think are most likely to cut down the net. So if that's how I feel, then that would be how I played that. SEC versus the field.
Good to talk to you. Good luck tonight. Catch up with you soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Be well.
Thanks, Taylor.
All right, 4 picks there. Laying it with A&M. Miss State now favored. He grabbed the points earlier. K-State money line. George Mason, St. Louis under. What a card. You got UConn, Creighton too tonight. Oh, something must have happened. 5.5 point move in the San Diego State game. It's up to 10 on the road against San Jose State. It opened 5.5. I see 10s. That's bizarre. A lot of NFL news. You won't believe what the 49ers said yesterday. Straight ahead, Visa and Follow the Money. Live from Circa, Sirius XM, channel 158.
to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
No U.S. integrity needed. You just need Brian Edwards. Sports Better. Vegas B. Edwards on X. San Jose State star players out. Averages 16 and 4. That's why the line went from 5.5 to 10. Aztecs on the road. Like you, I would think it'd be a couple people. It's like we're talking about a great Spartan team.
Guy's scoring 16. He's worth 4.5 to the line.
Oh.
I tell you, it's bad. Fresno is really bad.
Yeah, they are.
Oof.
Yep. So thanks to Brian Edwards for that. Grizzlies laying 4.5 on the road. Ugly situation with the Phoenix locker room. Wanted to make moves, wanted to get Butler, couldn't do it. Chopped Durant, he's not happy about it. They wanted to trade Beal, couldn't do it. Hey, I like it here. My family's having a good time. He's getting heckled at home games. Wouldn't waive his no trade. Jurkic, I don't have any relationship with the head coach. What are you talking about? They ship him out? Ugly situation. And a good Memphis team. Suns 500 on the year. They've lost 4 of 5, and again, the only win was at home in overtime against the atrocious Jazz. Let's lay it with Memphis. There you go. What do you got, Michael?
I'm going to take the 2 college basketball games, like I said. I'm going to ignore Cuff on the second one, although he didn't have a play. He leaned Illinois. I'm going to take Kansas State. Bad spot for the Cats. But they're look ahead to Houston on Saturday. Going to Manhattan tonight. 3.5. He took him on the money line. I'll take the points. And then, I don't know, this Cronin. I was convinced Mick Cronin was trying to get fired. I don't have anything to prove. I'm 53. I've won almost 500 games. Everybody in the locker room's soft. These kids are delusional. I have more energy than everybody in practice. I just kept berate. Then he would berate the reporters about the travel. I mean, it's like 4 consecutive games he went nuts in the postgame, and all they've done is win 7 in a row. I know they've all been in the Pacific time zone, but they've beaten some good teams, too, in Wisconsin and Michigan State. So I'm going to take the 7 tonight in Champaign against Illinois.
Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you. Fun weekend. Daytona 500, NBA, NHL. Good golf tournament. MLB props, futures. March Madness right around the corner. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Uncle Lou's on Friday, too. UFC $9.99. Every daily email from Bill 80. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The prop analyzer will blow your mind. All the content that's up there every single day. Get it. Become part of the team. VSiN.com/subscribe. If you take out the back-to-back against Atlanta, Toronto's 2-21 on the road. Maybe the Sixers, pissed off after what happened in Milwaukee, open up a can on Toronto tonight. That could happen. So earlier we did top 5 worst Super Bowls. And again, I'll go back to the 70s. There's some great stuff in here. I can't believe there was a game with 11 and 10 turnovers. You had one of them. But again, thanks to David Stanley who sent that in. 16-13 final, 11 turnovers. And then not only does a defensive player win the MVP, he wins it on a losing team. He had everything with that game. I had Seattle-Denver, number 5, 43-8. Niners-Chargers, 49-26. It was 14-0, 5 minutes in, 18.5-point spread. Bears over the Patriots, 46-10 and 85. Niners-Broncos, 55-10. Dallas Bills, 52-17. I don't care with a halftime
what
show.
What about Leon Lett?
Yeah, get out of here.
And OJ.
Leon Lett play. OJ
I
on the
can't
side.
say that because I wasn't exciting. I was at my girlfriend went to Drake, and I was there for the weekend, and so I watched the Super Bowl with her in her dorm room with some Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
And then I had to drive back to Notre Dame when the game was done. And it was cold. It was icy.
I bet.
I-80. It was a very vivid memory.
Yeah.
Anyhow, my list. Number 5, I tell you, it was because of the disappointment of not having the Vikings in there.
Well
I
done.
was
Okay,
already
fair enough.
pissed off when the game started, and the Falcons didn't put up much of an effort, and Elway goes back-to-back. Raiders-Redskins, this was a very good Redskins team, and they got blitzkrieged by the Raiders, and the Theismann interception right before the half. So it was a rout in Tampa. Cowboys-Broncos is the one I referred to. 10 total turnovers, 8 by the Broncos. This was Staubach versus with Craig Morton, but Morton got pulled. I think Denver used 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
You force 8 turnovers, and you win by 17, and you only score 27.
Think about how good the Cowboys' offense was when they got 8 takeaways and only scored 27. There was nothing to write home about. But Doomsday got there, and Landry's last Super Bowl title. Then the two routes by the 49ers. Number 2 on my list, 55-10. And then the game that was at 18.5. Come on. How can the line is 18.5? You know it's going to be a horrific game, and it was.
I can't get over what the money line was. It's kind of like Oregon, Colorado from a couple of years ago, right? Mm-hmm. You got a team laying that spread, and that's what it was. So, good list, good.
What was your
response.
best Super Bowl?
Okay.
I said wide right was my number 1.
Yeah, I don't recall much of it. We got the running back, Kenneth Davis. Who was it?
Kenneth Davis. When Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet, the fourth and final game. That's a good. The 4 Falls of Buffalo. That's a good 30 for 30. But they talked about that they just had nothing left after playing all those games in those 4 years. But he couldn't find his helmet, and they put Kenneth Davis, and he fumbled on the second play.
Do you want just game or total experience, everything going on?
I say for my whole experience on that day, in viewing that Super Bowl, what was the best?
It's Baltimore, San Francisco.
Okay. The blackout?
It was right after Megabucks.
Yeah.
I cashed a ton of tickets. I had a big future on the Ravens. I thought for sure they'd go into New England and win. And then with the blackout, and is the game going to be postponed? What's going to happen?
And Bruno Mars at halftime. You have to consider the halftime entertainment.
And then the game completely flips.
Yeah.
I mean, that game had everything. There was a kickoff return. There was a safety. It was a blowout. And then the Niners are in position to win the game. Harbaugh holding. They think they're going to win the game. That had everything. It was nuts. And then I was also pissed off because, yes, I catch my future, but how did Joe Flacco look like Joe Montana for a month? They went into Denver. He beat Manning. How did that happen? Was it Raheem Moore? Couldn't on the Hail Mary. Then you go into New England and beat them. I mean, it was ridiculous. And they take out the 49ers as well. So Kaepernick Mania was running wild too. But as far I loved Denver Green Bay. Loved it. Point spread was crazy.
That was good. That was two really good teams.
This one's for John.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good.
The helicopter, Elway getting hit and spinning.
I think Atlanta, New England was awesome. Had everything. Brady throws a pick 6. Oh, they're going to blow them out. And then it can't be stopped. 2-point conversions. They're down 28-3. There comes the turnover.
The New England-Seattle game was really good,
That was
too,
good,
where
too.
they didn't
You're
run
right.
Beastmo at the 1, and he gets the Malcolm Butler
was a
gets
good
the pick.
game.
That was a really good game.
Good call. Who was the wide receiver that made the crazy catch on the sideline? What was his name? You remember?
No.
He was falling down. It's kind of like Antonio Freeman. What was his name? Anyways, he had that catch before in that sequence that led up, and then the Butler interception. That was a fun game as well. But that goes to show, Tom could be 4-6. Tom could be 3-7. Tom also could be 10-0.
But they also never got blown out like Mahomes.
Oh, absolutely right. That's what big hit to the legacy. Yeah. Big hit. You combined 40 points in the 2 losses, right? So anything else you got with the? I mean, there's a lot of. I'm trying to think. It's hard because it depends how you want to define it and how you want to look at it.
I remember being really disappointed by Marino's when they got blown out by San Francisco
Don't
when
recall
Marino
that
rated.
game. Yep.
I thought that was going to be a great game, and it was a terrible game.
Yeah. The great line afterwards. I thought I'd be back on a regular basis. That one was good. I'm sure I'm missing one, too. How good is this college basketball card?
Jermaine Kearse.
That's it.
Incredible
Thank you, guys.
catch.
Thank you, guys. How good is this that we haven't even got really much into UConn Creighton? It's another great game on a card tonight, and it's like, okay, all right, not bad.
It's an
right?
afterthought.
Right. And as you pointed out, good call. Creighton plus 175 to win the Big East.
They're a game behind St. John's.
They're right there. And having some good wins.
You pretty much eliminate UConn with the win if you're betting the regular season race.
Right, yep. And Creighton laying 4 at home. What a card tonight. Now it's getting fun, Maestro. Good. Another game.
Could be a tricky spot for Iowa State, too, at UCF.
Yep, that's true.
Lane 8.
Yeah, but I like Tennessee. Number 1 defense against a Kentucky team that struggles defensively, to be kind. And I think they get revenge here on Kentucky. I'm with Dallin Cuff. Miss State at home against Florida. It was +3. Now they're favored. But I agree with the move. I think Miss State takes out Florida. And I don't mind betting against Auburn and Alabama with the look-ahead spots as well as they collide Saturday, number 1 against number 2. And I'm rooting for you. Good call on. I hope Drake gets there too. I hope Drake's a tournament team and Drake keeps it going 22-2 or 20-2, whatever their record is. Good job. Fun. I'm excited for Friday. Got a good list coming up as well. And a fun show with Lou and Richie B in studio about how to massage the number. and how young people can't get off the screens as well with the younger demographic. There'll be good stuff kicking around with Mr. 2 Packs a Day. VSiN Primetime coming up next. Von Tobel with you. He's with me tomorrow and Thursday. Cashing out Joe Serralo. And by the book, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Great job by the crew. Thanks to all the great guests. Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out all the podcasts. If you miss anything on the network, vsin.com. Get the Watch app and check out the podcast as well. Good luck out there. We're back tomorrow. And RJ Choppy from the Fan in Dallas on all the madness of what's going on. Throwing fans out of the games, death threats. It's coming up.